Good morning, crypto Twitter, it's Mr. Crypto, spreading crypto with adoption, showing its benefits to my generation. Shout out to all my people, Jesse needs to be included, it's really that simple. We are savage, amazed, boss SD, making money at the same time, spread peace. I feel empty if you don't include Gen Z, about to change the world, so y'all better get ready. Mr. Crypto, I'm never backing down, I got a wax account, you should check it out. So many NFTs, I think I lost count, and I'm only getting started. Yeah, barely off the ground. Listening crypto, you cannot stop me. My hands are made from diamond, your hands fall like origami. Never be the boss of me. Bitcoin's all I need. When I say I'm zesty, that's just me talking honestly. Crypto and yum farm marketplace. I wanna see the more we gotta go through cyberspace. Leave this world without a trace. Stay faithful a different day, 'cause we partners in the cryptos didn't stay.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Miss Teen Crypto Show. I hope you guys are having a lovely Tuesday today. Before we get started, as always, we're going to shout out three amazing sponsors of the Miss Teen Crypto Show. First, we are going to shout out Wax Blockchain. Wax Blockchain is absolutely killing it. As always, gas-free.
We are going to shout out Wax Blockchain. Wax Blockchain is absolutely killing it.
Oh, wait, Liz, do you have me on your...
Why am I hearing you? Like, I'm hearing, sorry, everybody, I'm hearing an echo. What am I
Do you have my audio on your side, on the YouTube link?
Why am I hearing you? Like, I'm hearing, sorry, everybody, I'm hearing I don't know. I have share screen.
Do you have my audio on your side, on the YouTube link? Okay. Yes. Yes.
No, I'm not hearing.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing.
You're good. I muted you so you don't hear yourself. Are you good?
Okay.
You took off YouTube?
Yes.
No, I'm not hearing.
Wait, yeah.
I'm not hearing the echo.
You're good.
Sorry.
I muted you so
you guys are watching how
you took off YouTube?
Yes.
No, I'm not hearing.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing the echo.
You're good.
Sorry.
I muted you.
Never mind.
Okay, cool. You're all good. So now we had a little bit of technical difficulties. Now we're all good. So before we jump into the show, as usual, Wax Blockchain absolutely killing the game. Was great hanging out with them at NFT NYC. Next, Nifty Blocks. You're looking to trade and earn some Wax NFTs. NiftyBlocks.com is the spot. Last, Ballet. Ballet is always killing it. Amazing wallets if you're looking to get into crypto. Need something easy, simple. Keep your crypto offline and safe with Ballet. BalletCrypto.com. Now we're going to jump into today's guest, the one and only Liz Claman from Fox Business. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh. Okay, the markets went nuts. We were up and then we were down. I'm talking about stocks, so it was insane. I just got off the set because, my show's 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern, and I ran right up here to my office. Voila, my office.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And I'm here talking to you, Miss Teen Crypto. I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan of you too. It was great meeting you at Security Token Summit. You were interviewing Tim Draper, and that was really exciting. And you guys absolutely crushed it. It was just great seeing you in action. Like, do you like going to events and doing in-person interviews like that?
Very much so. It's a skill set that as you know, it's something that you have to learn how to do, where you have to understand your audience. You have to keep your eye on the clock. You have to keep the person engaged. You can't have any cringeful moments. Exactly. So especially when you're talking about something as important and nascent and major as cryptocurrency, you got to do your research. So I was up all night for a couple of nights working and making sure, because Tim Draper's the man. I mean, he's the guy who bought so much crypto in so early, and he's done really, really well. He's a big thinker. He's a big forward thinker. He's a long-term guy. He knows that in the short term, there are going to be lots of peaks and valleys, which we've already seen in crypto. But yeah, I love doing those events. I love them because you get out there and it's very much with the audience and live, and you've got to keep it going.
Absolutely. I love doing that. That's why I interviewed you while we were at Security Token Summit. I got a few minutes with you, and that was like kind of like our zesty intro. And, I really want to learn more about you because I love the way you think. I love the way you project your thoughts. You're very articulate in all the things you talk about. How did you find markets? Because I know you mentioned to me that your father got you involved.
Well, it's funny because my dad was a surgeon and doctors are notoriously bad investors. Dad was a surgeon, but he loved the stock market. He loved great American companies, and he had 5 kids. And so he had to figure out a way beyond just being a doctor to pay for 5 kids going through college, because at one point 4 of us were in college. So he said, I'm going to buy stock. And he bought Kodak, which ended up going bankrupt later, but he learned how to buy it when it fell and then sell it when it went up. So he'd skim off the top, then he'd wait till it fell again, and then he'd buy it and it'd go back up. And he said, Kodak put you through college, kids. But Dad was a doctor. I had a mom from California. I didn't know anybody whose dad was in the stock market or mom at all. So I'm a kid of the 70s, right? And everybody, so it was Beverly Hills, let's just be honest. That's where I grew up, and I went to Beverly High. Everybody's parents were in the movie business. Nobody knew anything about the Wall Street. So it was kind of nuts. And mom was a theater actress, and she played the grandmother on 90210. So she was the grandma for Shannon Doherty.
No way.
And, yeah, she's hilarious. And so we just grew up in a very sort of, do hard work and everything will be fine. And then you realize, wait a minute. Nobody's going to take care of you but you in your retirement. And so you have to go beyond what you're doing as a passion project, and you have to invest. That said, I didn't invest at all. I went into local news where I was covering drug busts and murders and explosions and all of that. And I don't know, I never did financial news, and went Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Boston, because you have to start in towns and then move your way up. And then CNBC called and they said, we know you don't have a business background, but we like how you communicate on TV. So can we teach you business?
Oh.
I was like, New York, count me in. And look, I think the day that I got the call, I was standing on the coast of Rhode Island in gale force winds, covering a whale carcass that had just washed up on the ocean, from the ocean. And I thought, time to get out of this end of the business. So I did not have a passion for stocks, but I have a passion for great stories. And
absolutely.
American business and global business is better than any story you could cover in local news. I mean, there are riches, there are losses, there's crime, there's punishment, there's starting in a garage and making it all the way to the top of the Dow. And it's just I just love it. So that's how I got into it. And then crypto came along, which was to me so fascinating because I had known the Winklevoss twins and interviewed them, and they were very early people.
Oh, yes, they were.
So.
So, like, going into finance, and what was that like for you? What did you learn that you really were shocked to not know before?
That the earlier you invest, the way better you will do. And I started late. And, my dad used to say, I'm your safety net. I used to say, should I be investing? I don't know. I talked to these guys who are buying stocks and through their broker, and he said, I'm your safety net. Well, guess what? That's really loving and sweet and wonderful until your safety net isn't there anymore. Yeah. And parents die. And, I realized, oh my God, had I started earlier, compounding is just so valuable. It's so important. 401ks, just start early and go broad and leave it there. And it's going to grow if you get it into great companies, good companies.
So let's say you go back in time to my age, 19 years old. What would be your move? Would you go into the stock market, or would you, like now that crypto's around, would you go into crypto if you were in my position now?
Everything. I mean, what you want to do is first go for your passion, get your job, and then skim off a corner of it every month and put it, first of all, take a chunk of that corner. Had you put it in the S&P, so I'm 58. I know. Can you believe it? I'm admitting that. I was born in 1963. I know I'm cute, right?
No, you're gorgeous. Stunning.
Had I invested in the S&P 500, which is the 500 best companies, strongest companies, best balance sheet companies in America, when I was 19, okay, I would have a huge amount of money, even if I just did a couple of $100 every single month from a paycheck.
Whoa.
Because of compounding, not fooling around, not going, oh, let me try Merck. Oh, wait a minute. Now let me try ExxonMobil. No, just do the S&P. Then you take another little chunk and you invest in your companies, meaning we are all smarter than a lot of people. You go out on the street and you say, oh God, all my friends are playing this video game. And I think PlayStation is blah, blah, blah. Let me buy Sony. You know, whatever it is that you see is being utilized, bought, and people are passionate about, and there's good leadership in the company, there's a good chance that, you know, it might do well. And if that involves something in its nascent stage, like cryptocurrency or the internet, it's risky. You know, back in 1999, when I first got into business news in 1998, the web, the internet, .com, I covered so many companies that no longer exist because they got crushed in the stampede as the herd changed and turned. Yeah. Some, Amazon, obviously have done unbelievably well. So it is a little bit of a crapshoot. It really is. And that's the same. Who knows? I was just talking to Brock Pierce, who of course is very big in cryptocurrency.
Yes.
And Brock said, 5 years from now, I don't know what's going to be the leader. Is it going to be Bitcoin? Is it going to be Ether? Those two might not exist. Who knows? So you have to understand that that's money that you got to be able to lose, especially in early things. It's not just crypto. But yeah, that's what I would say. Start early. Oh my God.
Start early. Absolutely. That's why I'm so fortunate that I was able to learn about Bitcoin when I was 16, even earlier than that, just to be aware of just this new market and just be aware of the markets in general and just learning, like just having a little bit of financial literacy that literally no one my age really has. So I was lucky enough to and listen to people like you too, because I do watch the Claman Countdown. How did the Claman Countdown start? Because you were at CNBC. So where did Fox come from? How did Claman Countdown start? Because this is iconic.
Thank you. The Claman Countdown. Well, it has. People think, oh wow, she's this, she's that. No, guys, it took me 19 years before I got to Fox, and I marked Fox Business. Again, it's a business channel. I marked Fox Business as sort of the moment that everything started to really happen for me. Meaning, they really valued me. I was low man on the totem pole at CNBC. Okay, so I came in as a freelancer, take chances in your life. I quit my job in Boston, which was an anchor job, and they, you know, I had parking. Okay, so like I'm from LA, and when you go to Laker games, nobody says, where'd you sit? They go, where'd you park? Because we had parking. So I mean, they gave me parking in Boston, and I was all excited. And they're like, at CNBC said, well, you got to quit where you are now, and we can't give you benefits, and we can't give you parking. We can't do it, but it may or may not work out. And I took the chance. So when I went in 1998 to CNBC, I knew zero. When I say zero, like I was dog paddling to save my life. And I just studied every single night. I didn't know what the Dow was. I didn't know NASDAQ, FTSE 100, CAC 40, all the words, you know, derivatives, et cetera, hedge funds. So I just went to Liz Claman Business School, and I bought books, and I studied, and I faked it till I made it, right? Fake it till you make it. I was there for 9 years. So my 13-week trial turned into 9 years. I landed every major person. I landed Warren Buffett for the network. I landed Bill Gates, all these other people. And then I was like, I'm Californian, what's next? And I was going to leave business news. And then I got a call from Fox, and they were like, hey, want to come over and say hi, you know, and there were rumors that they were going to do a business network, but I had no interest. I was done with business news. And because I felt like CNBC was doing it very smartly, but really only for a narrow trading audience and not for everybody else who would ask the question you just asked. If you were me, where would you start? And I don't take a snobby attitude about investment. I want everybody to understand when I throw out the term, oh, the CPI number just came out. Don't just throw that out. Say, by the way, that stands for Consumer Price Index. It's inflation at the consumer level, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Everybody knows about their money. So I'm not a snob when it comes to that. And I sort of felt there was a little bit of snobbiness. So I thought, I'm going to go into back to news. And Fox called, and I started laughing because I'm not exactly a Fox person, because of their reputation and everything. Mm-hmm. And I started laughing. I was like, yeah, right. What? So I went in just to say hi. And that was 14 years ago.
Wow.
Because they said, you can do whatever you want and you can say whatever you want. We just like the way you communicate on TV. And I was like, I've reached the
Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail.
Freedom.
Be you. And my parents were Canadian, so I was always thanking guests on the set at CNBC, and CNBC called me and they're, stop thanking guests, stop being nice to them. And I'm like, wait, what? So I got to be me. And believe me, I can be a real. Sometimes when I see somebody trying to pull the wool over investors' eyes, I'll come in, right?
Exactly, as you should. That's journalism.
That's journalism, exactly. Charlie Gasparino, my reporter coworker, loves to say, I have no friends, just sources.
Just sources.
You don't want to be friends with these people because when they do something wrong, you got to come at them with a curveball.
Yeah, I mean, you're assertive, and that's what you need to do. I mean, if you're interviewing people and it's the sake of people's money now because people are looking for investment advice, they're looking for actual information that could matter to them in their portfolio. So if you find a problem, then why wouldn't you talk about it?
Well, yeah, and you just said I'm assertive. I really want everybody who's watching right now to understand that who I am today is not at all who I was growing up. I was relatively quiet. I would have never been the person to shove a microphone in a dirty politician's face and say, why'd you do it? Okay, I knew I wanted to be a news reporter. So I had to fight my regular instincts because I was taught to be very polite.
Yeah.
My dad was definitely a feminist. Okay, he had 4 daughters and then my little brother. But I really I wasn't the person to jump out of the bushes and say, you're busted for crack cocaine. This is not who I was, but I realized it's who I wanted to be. I wanted to inform the public. I wanted to be a reporter. I wanted to be where things were happening.
Exactly.
With newsmakers. And so I had to train myself to not be who I had been, while never letting go of my ethics, though, and my morals. So that, you can become something that you are not currently. It just takes work.
Yeah, time, dedication, and that's what I love about you. Like, you have such a grind, and I respect it. I mean, you've hosted some amazing interviews over your career, including one of the most famous in the crypto community, talking about Charlie Munger saying that Bitcoin is a more expensive rat poison. So do you mind talking about that interview and what your reaction was? Because I saw your face, I rewatched the clip and you were kind of holding back a little laugh. You're like, why'd you say that, dude? So do you mind telling us about that interview?
So 2013, right?
It's so long ago.
Crypto was a few years old, as we know. And I, every year, would go to Nebraska for the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholder meeting and speak to Warren Buffett and his longtime partner and vice chair, Charlie Munger, also a billionaire. Both are from Nebraska. They are both totally self-made and two of the smartest people.
Yeah.
At the time, they were in their 80s, early.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry, mid 80s. Yeah, mid to late 80s, because Munger's older than Buffett. Munger is 96.
Whoa.
Buffett's 91.
Whoa.
So every year I would go to their annual shareholder meeting. And then the Monday after that meeting, because it's over the weekends, this big hoo-ha event, I would sit down and do a 1-hour interview with both of them live. And then Bill Gates would join us because Bill at the time was he was one of the board members.
Yeah.
So Munger, and here's like the little secret, and I would say this to Warren's face, but Charlie's smarter than Warren on many levels, and he is so freaking funny. It's unbelievable. So you always know, and he speaks more slowly because he thinks before so you ask him a question and there's a little bit of dead air and you're like, oh God, I'm on live TV. And then he busts out with some unbelievable comment. So as we're cruising along and I'm talking about the economy and the Federal Reserve and the financial crisis is in the rearview mirror, it's 2013. And I said, what do you think of Bitcoin? Dead silence. I've got Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Charlie Munger. And Charlie pauses and says, it's rat poison. And we all burst out laughing. And Buffett said to me, put him down as undecided. You know, he was not undecided. It's very much the vision of somebody who's seen a lot of things pop up and then shrivel in his time.
Yes.
And he just didn't recognize it. It is, and you'd be the first to admit it, hard to wrap your mind around when you first start thinking about it. But so was the internet. So was the car.
Yeah.
People were like, wait, why would I give up my horse and buggy for this newfangled thing that could break down and needs gasoline or some type of oil to make it run? Why would I do that? Why would I buy a computer while I have a great typewriter?
Exactly.
So evolution has many naysayers. It really does. And Charlie was very frank about it. And he just worries that people would get sucked in, but they get sucked in by Ponzi schemes going back to the 1800s or whenever Monsieur Ponzi was, you know, Ponzi schemes are named so because of a guy named Ponzi who pulled off one.
Exactly.
So, you know, that happened. So then the next year, or 2 years later, I think, Bitcoin had gone from 300 to 3,000. Okay. When I asked him, it was, I can't remember what it was, but suddenly it's 3,000.
Yeah.
So I see Munger again, and I say, now what do you think of Bitcoin? And he says, it's a very expensive rat poison. So then I asked Buffett, I want to say 2018. So 5 years after 2013, I said, Charlie said that Bitcoin was rat poison. What do you think of it now that it's way higher? And he said, it's rat poison squared. So Buffett called it rat poison squared. So these guys are funny, but they don't understand. You know, it's not their thing. And they are very smart. They are the richest, among the richest people on planet Earth. They're not stupid, but it's hard for them to recognize things they don't understand. And that, by the way, includes Microsoft, which Buffett never bought, even though he could have had a total inside track, because he said, I didn't understand technology and the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a little beyond him at the moment, which seems that maybe it's a little, you know, crypto's a little beyond him right now because, you know, there are a lot of people in that age group that don't even, you know, use Gmail. They don't tweet. A lot of people, you know, don't do their own social media. So maybe something like digital cash might be something that they just don't conceptualize just yet until everyone's using Bitcoin, everyone's using cryptocurrency. And then they're going to have to use it because they're going to have to adapt, just like debit cards, credit cards, and just all this digital cash that we're kind of using right now. What are your feelings about the crypto market? Because you've been observing this for quite a while now.
Well, the crypto market is obviously very volatile. High back in November was 69,000 per Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And now it's hovering around 20. Feels like there's a ceiling at 21,000 lately.
Yeah.
I think what did a lot of damage recently was Terra and Luna, the so-called stable coins. There was nothing stable about them. USD though, USDC, I just had the CEO of Circle on, and he, of course, is the organization behind the USD, which is that stable coin, the original stable coin since 2018, that did not break the buck, meaning it didn't collapse and go below $1. Why? Because it's backed up by short-term treasuries and cash and other investments. So if something happens, it's like an ETF, like a gold ETF. You know, they are backed up by physical gold so that if something happens and people want to pull their money out, they're backed up. And I think the problem with Terra and Luna is that their backup was some weird algorithm.
Yep.
Not good. And so I think that shook tons of confidence out of the market. And it was sort of a cleanse in a way, because anybody who was there on the margins didn't understand it, was on the periphery thinking they could make a quick buck. They either turned tail, got scared, and got out, and that includes some big institutional investors, or they lost their money. And that's never a good thing, and it's upsetting, but do your homework.
Exactly. Always do your own research. So your thoughts on Bitcoin in general, do you see, where do you see the space going? Do you see Bitcoin progressing as it's going right now? More people adopting it, more countries adopting it?
Well, yes, absolutely. You obviously have El Salvador, it's legal tender there. Let's just be very clear here. Digital currency is a thing, and it will be a thing. People did not understand. Well, you said something really interesting to me, which I loved. You said, look, I'm 58, you're 19. You said, I have never sent a fax and I've never written a check.
It's true.
It's just a different world now. And I'm thinking, what? My head's exploding. What do you mean you've never written a check? Nobody would have trusted Venmo a long time ago or PayPal. And look at them now.
Exactly.
It just works. So digital money is actually working. What we just need to do is watch out for regulation and make sure that this nascent sector, it's a sector, it's a business, it's real in many cases. Just like anything else, there's some frauds in there, of course. Okay, that's anything. It is going to survive in some form and then morph. Okay, so that's what I think of Bitcoin and crypto, et cetera. I think 19,000 coins is ridiculous. Some of them are just a joke, obviously. Some of them are, I don't know what's behind them. Cotton candy, clouds, fluff. But others are actual businesses. And really, it was Brock Pierce, with whom I recently spoke, that he really made me understand that we are going to be using digital currency. And this whole concept of, I mean, when you think about paper money, the only difference, I get to show you what kind of money I have here. The only difference between this and this, they're both the same piece of paper, but this one's stamped with 20 and that one's stamped with 1.
Exactly.
Okay, who decided? We're going to look back on this and say, I can't believe I carried these things in my wallet with me. Why did I even have a wallet? I mean, it's just, It's so strange. The US dollar obviously is backed by the full faith and credit of the US, the United States of America, thank God. And I'm not an anti-dollar person at all, but I just think that we evolve and we have to evolve. It's like internal combustion cars, time to evolve to electric, which is it. It's not a political statement. It's nothing except evolution, going from typewriter to computer to laptop, going from, coins that people hammered out in Roman times to dollars to digital currency.
So to answer the question we've all been waiting for, Liz, is Bitcoin rat poison?
Bitcoin itself, in and of itself, to me, looks like it is the most utilized. It's the biggest market cap of any of the cryptos. I think some of the others are absolutely rat poison. Some of these little ones that have nothing behind them. But I think it's not quite fair to call Bitcoin rat poison. I would say it is an investment, and like any investment, there is risk attached. But you could say that about Nike.
Yep.
You could say that about Morgan Stanley stock or JP Morgan or Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing or any of these companies that no longer, there are so many companies that don't exist anymore that everybody thought would be around forever, and they Lucent. I mean, where's Lucent? It's like these companies that were stocks and aren't anymore. I'm not saying the names that I just mentioned, Minnesota at 3M, of course that's around. I mean, everybody's going to be using those products, and JP Morgan, et cetera, but there's risk attached to everything.
Absolutely. Very well said. Thank you so much for joining us, Liz. Please shout out your times when you're always live on Fox Business.
3 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, Claman Countdown. And if you need to find us, foxbusiness.com/channel finder.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Please follow Liz. I did put her information in the description of the video.
Liz Claman.
Yes.
And I do TikToks.
Yes, you do TikToks now too? Oh my gosh.
Red Fox Liz on TikTok. We talk about crypto all the time.
Red Fox Liz on TikTok. Please go follow her. Follow her right now. All right, guys.
Drop everything.
Yes, seriously, drop everything. But before that, like this video and then go do that. And I also put the link in the live chat to my episode with Liz on her podcast on foxbusiness.com, foxnews.com, radio.foxnews.com. So definitely check that out. It was an amazing episode. Please watch Liz every day. She is absolutely amazing. And you have Charles Payne the hour before her. So you got back-to-back icons, to be honest. You guys are absolutely amazing over at Fox Business. Thank you for always being kind to me and having me on the shows as well. I really hope we connect and have you on again in the future.
You're good. Remember us little people when you get huge.
Oh, stop it, Liz. We're gonna be besties forever. Thank you so much for coming. You're absolutely amazing. I really want to have you back just to talk more about you and just what you do and how you see things, because you're just so smart and I could literally never stop talking to you. Thank you to everybody in the chat that attended today. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like, comment when the video is over, and subscribe. Share this with friends. I will be back in a few days for another episode of the Miss Teen Crypto Show. The grind never stops, my friends. Have a great day. And as always, stay zesty. Peace.
Zesty.
Woo!
Good morning, crypto Twitter, it's Miss Teen Crypto, spreading crypto adoption, showing its benefits to my generation. Shout out to all my people, Jesse needs to be included. It's really that simple. We are savage, amazed, boss, zesty, making money at the same time, spread peace. I feel empty if you don't include Gen Z. About to change the world, so y'all better get ready. Miss Teen Crypto, I'm never backing down. I got a wax account, you should check it out. So many NFTs, I think I lost count.